Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Dylan Knows, episode 499 on strike. I am officially on strike, so I will not be doing this show. So goodbye. Wait, I just had a talk with management. They said, okay, you're free to go. So we're back on. So good on that. So episode 499 of Dylan Knows on strike is back on the air. So how the hell are y'all today? It was a hella busy day today all over the place. And it wasn't even stuff that I was doing. I did some crazy stuff, but there was a whole ton of stuff. This is like one of the busiest weekends for events and fairs and fun stuff to do. First weekend in May 6th, 2023. It was quite a beautiful, gorgeous day here on the eastern seaboard up in Reisterstown, Maryland, and other parts. It was absolutely stunning. 72, 73 degrees, sunny skies, sunny blue skies, some light clouds. And what do we got? We had Free Comic Book Day was today, and I'll tell you some stories about that. The coronation of King Charles was today. Yay. The Kentucky Derby was run today. Mage was the winner of that. For Pokemon Go, Cleavor had a raid day from 11 to 2. Downtown Baltimore, an old friend from work who no longer works with us, she took her son down to an Alice in Wonderland event that was going on down there. That's crazy. I did 2 episodes of my Road to 500 show, or that was Friday into Saturday, and also a summer preview show. My family is camping this weekend. It's Camporee, which is a big scouting event for the Scouts. The Decoy Festival at Haverty Grace, the Towson Town Festival is going on also this weekend. What else is going on? There are all kinds of fairs and yard sales and events, and it's just absolute craziness. And it was an absolutely gorgeous day. So I'm glad everybody had a chance to get some good stuff here. Free Comic Book Day for me was really good, as was the Cleavor Pokemon Go raid day. I had to, my daughter, she spent the night at a friend's house last night, even though she needed to be up at Camporee, but it was okay because Friday night not a lot happened. So my wife and son drove up, and then my daughter spent the night at her friend's house, and then I went and I picked her up early this morning. So I was up early today on a Saturday at 6 a.m. and got her at 7:45, drove up to a place outside of Bel Air and back home. So I was 2 hours there, 1 hour back, 1 hour, 1 hour to 1 hour back, I should say. Then sat down for about half hour, 45 minutes, talked to my mom. Then went out and did the Cleavor raid day, played my wife's Pokemon Go and my Pokemon Go. On my wife's first raid, I got her a shiny 98%, which is a brilliant one. So she was happy. Got her 3 more, and then I got 5 for myself. And then I walked up to my comic shop, who was doing their Free Comic Book Day. It was being a gorgeous day. They had the free comic books outside in their parking lot. They had the grill going. They had hot dogs, hamburgers, chicken, sodas, potato chips, all for free. And then when you went into the shop was insanely busy. Sales out the wazoo, lines forming all the way through the store. One person manning the cash register, because there's only one cash register, my friend Chuck. So I felt bad for him when I talked to him. They had some creators, including my old boss from one of my old bosses from Diamond Comics, Jim Kohoric. And while I was there, I also ran into a former employee I worked with and a friend from my Diamond days, Frank Davis and his daughter. So it was nice to see them as well. I hadn't been in a comic book store in months, and I bought a few things I needed. My brother-in-law loves the comic Gru, and there was a new Gru that came out. I got the first 2 issues, but didn't get the other 2, but got those today. There was a new comic that came out called Blue Book about alien invasion and alien abductions. I wanted to get that. The new Shazam with Mark Waid came out. I got that as well. And then I wanted to get Astro City Mega Book 3 I have the other two because Astro City is one of my favorites, so I got that one as well. And not bad for a day's work. Then came home and played some. Then I did my second episode of Road to 500. Then did some Fortnite, and then made my dinner and got ready for today's show. And here we go. Tomorrow, I don't really think I have any plan. I probably need to go grocery shopping tomorrow. The family will be back early tomorrow, so probably about 11 o'clock they'll be home. Maybe play some Fortnite, but I'll be able to sleep in tomorrow, which would be nice. So that'll be good. So pretty good day all around for that. So I'm glad that happened. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, yes, the Writers Guild of America has gone on strike. We were talking about this last week, that it was more than a dead cert that was going to happen, and it did happen. Very soon after I ended my show last weekend, the Writers Guild of America went on strike. It's affecting a lot of movies and TV shows. I've gotten to those. I've got them spaced out through the next few pages of notes. So you'll hear about what's going on with how that's being affecting some and not affecting others. What I'm trying to say here. So it is what it is. They are looking for better wages, obviously, money for streaming stuff that is being streamed that they wrote. They are not getting due payments for. So, back them up a little bit. Super Mario Brothers. The movie crossed $1 billion at the box office this week. So that's a big deal for Super Mario Brothers. Blade and Stranger Things season 5 are being shut down due to the writer's strike. So Blade continues to be the snake-bitten movie of the MCU. Carrie Fisher got her star on the Walk of Fame on May the 4th Be With You. Speeches by Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill. It Ends With Us adaptation cast Jenny Slate as Riley's sister, or Ryle's sister, excuse me. I don't know the story, but if you do, that must be a good deal. Woman wore a pizza dress. It's a dress that looks like a pepperoni pizza with a train that, when it looks flat, looks like a giant pepperoni pizza. It's a little wild there. Death, we had Canadian musical man Gordon Lightfoot passed away this week as well. All right, so I figured that's enough time. The only other thing I have on here before I go into the rest of the stuff is Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Volume 3 came out on yesterday, Monday, which basically is the start of the summer movie season. So that happened this weekend as well. And I went to see it. And here is my Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas shirt, but still it's the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. And I must say it is one of the best MCU movies I've ever seen, which is great because Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is one of the worst MCU movies I've ever seen. So having the third one come on the heels of the absolutely fantastic Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special just shows that James Gunn was in a good zen place when he wrote these two stories, and they complement each other really well. This is James Gunn's last run with the Guardians of the Galaxy with this cast anyway, and so he wanted to end it with a bang, wrap up some storylines from the previous movies, callbacks from previous movies as well, and some new characters and so on and so forth. It is I still think the original Guardians of the Galaxy is still the best by a smidge, but Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is a very close second, very, very close second. It is the more emotional one. I am not afraid to admit that I teared up about 4 times during the movie. And the incredible cast is great. Every single one of the cast members have their hero moment. which is really cool. And you get a generally awful, terrible bad guy in the High Evolutionary. It will be a bit hard for people who love animals and don't like to see animals getting tested on or abused. That is one of the key bits of this movie, because we learn about Rocket's past, how he became Rocket Raccoon, and it is some sad stuff. Is there death? Not really. Spoiler alert. But it's good to see how things progressed in the movie. They had their own version of the hallway scene, like they had in the Daredevil, where Daredevil just takes out all these villains in a little hallway. They did something similar, I think, in She-Hulk and Daredevil, kind of parodying that. And so Guardians of the Galaxy actually did their version of that as well. We get to see the new look Guardians of the Galaxy that made its appearance in the holiday special make its appearance here. And then we get a new look of a Guardians of the Galaxy in the mid-credit sequence. And the end credit sequence is a scene that, not too important, but it refers back to a scene that happened earlier in the film. So, not earlier in the film, but connected to the film in general. It's a fitting end, and I'm avoiding my spoilers, which is unlike me, because I just kind of want to get this over and done with today. No offense, I love doing my show, but I'm just extraordinarily tired today. And I just want you all to go see Guardians of the Galaxy 3 in the movie theaters. Do not wait for it to come out on Disney Plus. This film deserves to be seen. It's a good, fantastic, great summer film. Not as funny as some of the other ones, but that's okay. You get some appearances from Nathan Fillion. Can't miss him. And you also get James Gunn's wife makes an appearance. And I was proud of myself because I didn't know which character she was going to play. And I figured her out when I first saw her character appear on screen. We get the first appearance of Adam Warlock, which is, to be honest, is probably one of the more disappointing parts of the movie, because he is underutilized and he is treated more as a petulant child, which is not the Adam Warlock we know and love. The Adam Warlock we know and love is a very zen, sort of wise, beyond his age character, but I guess they're going to lead into that eventually. But they did introduce Adam Warlock. That's not a surprise, because you saw it all over the trailers, and Jamie Coulter or something like that playing him. And that harkens back to the Sovereigns, who were in Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2. As I said, not my favorite Guardians of the Galaxy movie. So there was that, harken back to that. And we have the Lost in Time Gamora makes her appearance here. She's part of Sylvester Stallone's Ravagers, which Sylvester Stallone makes an appearance in the film as well. Kevin Bacon has a small cameo, but not as you expect. It's part of a newspaper joke, which is kind of funny. So that's kind of cool. And I really don't want to go into much more detail, but the premise is the Guardians have been, as you saw in the holiday special, been working on making Nowhere a safe haven for people and make it their headquarters as well. We get a lot more Nebula, who's taking more of a hands-on role in this sort of stuff. We see Drax and Mantis continue their contentious relationship, which is one that I think Drax kind of needs. But Mantis sometimes probably needs it a little bit too, but she's starting to feel a little suffocated as well. We don't really get too much about the Mantis being Peter's sister. It pops up once or twice in the film, but I think it would be more of a thing you could have had the actors play off of each other a little bit better, but you didn't. There's another callback to the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which I'm not going to spoil for you, because it's you'll know it when you see it near the end of the movie. So you get your typical weird stuff, a bio like headquarters that's made of biological material is the setting of a major part of the movie, as is Counter Earth, which is an Earth that is exactly like ours, but with animals and humanoid animals. So and that plays a big role in the film as well. It's good to see the Guardians get to be a little bit more proactive and a little bit more fighting action oriented. It also looks like Chris Pratt has gotten a little bit more into shape. He was looking a little puffy in the Avengers movies. So he seems to be, he's not in prime Star-Lord shape that he was in the first film, but he's much better shape now. We have the Gamora situation that pops up. That stuff with Peter gets a little old near the beginning of the film, but eventually they realize that, yeah, we should probably stop doing this, and they end the joke before it gets excruciating, but it gets very close to be excruciating. Those are like kind of the only little quibbles I have. Adam Warlock was kind of wasted in this. But it was needed for a setup for something that happens later in the movie. So, and basically he's the one that sets the stuff into motion, because the Sovereign is after them for what they did to them in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but also the High Evolutionary who created the Sovereign, as well as Rocket. Once Rocket brought back to him so he can, look at his brain, you find out why he wants to look at Rocket's brain via flashbacks. And Adam Warlock is the one that puts things into motion as he attacks Nowhere and ends up fatally injuring Rocket, and he's close to dying, and that's what sets the Guardians off on their mission to have 48 hours to save their friend, and all the stuff that happens to try to do that. And while Rocket is sort of in his coma fighting for his life, we get flashes back to his past. So it's a very well done flashback scenario. As I said, everyone in the cast gets their moment to shine. Everyone, Kraglin, Cosmo, Drax, Mantis, Gamora, Peter, Nebula, Groot, all of them get their chance to shine, and it's very good and a very chilling villain. So I give it highest marks. It has now jumped down to one of my top 5 Marvel movies. So I guess maybe in that case it's a little bit better than Guardians of the Galaxy, because Guardians of the Galaxy is not quite in my top 5, but it's my top 10, I believe. But I really believe Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is just on par with the first Guardians of the Galaxy as well, if not a little bit better. So there we go. Some science stuff going on here. A 300-year-old bone found in a cave in Alaska and thought to be of a bear is actually from a human, which casts a new light onto the genetics of Native Americans people. So it's kind of a neat little scientific thing that they found. Speaking of bears, a black bear living in the Santa Monica Mountains was collared by scientists, and that's the way they determine, what's going on around him and in the mountains, and see if there's any other, signs of life and stuff like that in the mountains. And they discovered that this black bear that they've collared may very well be the only bear in the Santa Monica Mountains. So that's kind of an interesting little story. Australians have accidentally been eating a fish unknown to science for years. So that's interesting that something like that happens. So crazy. A strange structure was photographed on the surface of the Martian moon Phobos. It's really does not have explanation, since there's not a lot of rocks formations and stuff like that on the moon of Mars Phobos. So no one knows what this picture is, and it is an actual picture taken by a satellite, not a doctored one. So that makes things kind of interesting as well. Speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, it got $17.5 million in Thursday previews. I don't know what the Friday numbers were, or I don't know what the projected ones for today are. I think they're looking at a underwhelming 120 million, I think 120, 128 million opening weekend. So I'm not worried about it. I think it's there's really nothing coming out next week. So they have another week to be in control. So the week after is when Fast 10 comes out, and it'll drop out of the number one slot probably. But again, it is a roller coaster film. It is emotionally draining. Has some funny moments, but it has some good action set pieces. And we even get a cameo appearance by Yondu, which also harkens back to the original series as well. So definitely check that out. An angler catches a pending world record Chinook salmon in Argentina. It's pending right now because the world record people are trying to determine if it is, in fact, the biggest Chinook salmon caught in the world. So that's kind of interesting to see that come up. 2 megamouth sharks were caught on film for the first time ever. So we have actual pictures of megamouth sharks. Scientists have discovered a never-before-seen brain wave after reading an octopus's mind. They put some electrodes on an octopus's mind and read his thought processes and discovered an unknown brain wave that has never been seen before. Trying to find all the other science ones. There are now more than 86,000 people in Japan over the age of 100. That is insane. It means that they lived a good life. They lived a healthy life. They probably have socialized medicine, so it doesn't cost anything to go to the doctors. So the doctors probably are, they can easily go to doctors and get themselves taken care of. Any drugs or whatever they get probably don't cost anything. Plus, they eat well, drink tea and stuff like that. So good on them. Let's see, anything else? That might be all the science stuff for now. There's more to come. Oh, no. No. Freeze-dried Skittles is a thing, and the name of it is Friskizzle. So don't know what that's all about, but someone has actually created the actual freeze-dried Skittles. So I don't know why you would do that, but okay, here we are. Kit Kat has a new Milky Bar. I don't know what that means either, but it is called the Milky Bar. What else we got here? I'm talking. At 2 hours and 20 minutes, Across the Spider-Verse is the longest animated picture of all time. That's a really long time. It's about the length of a usual Marvel MCU movie. Deadpool 3 and Thunderbolts filming will not be affected by the WGA strike, so those films will go into production this summer to come out on time as they're supposed to. Zoe Saldana, who appears in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 as Gamora, is also set to star in Taylor Sheridan's new TV show, CIA's TV show based on the set in the CIA. So that's a pretty interesting thing. I'm despise the character of Stifler, and for the longest time I hated Sean William Scott's character and his acting and stuff like that, but he's sort of disappeared for a while. He's going to be coming back now. He's been tapped to star in a rom-com called The Last Bachelor, so hopefully it won't be a Stifler Last Bachelor sort of thing, but actual acting from Sean William Scott, who we know can act from the movie The Goon. So Star Trek fans can now virtually tour every Starship Enterprise bridge. So if you're really into Star Trek stuff, you can go ahead and virtually explore those. Doctor Strange 60th anniversary is coming quickly, and they're starting to do these cryptic teasers. 2 of them were released this week. One shows surprise with the Doctor and I have it down. the Doctor and Donna back together, and we were told that if Donna ever saw the Doctor, that her brain would shut down. So we got to see what that's all about. Gallifrey is mentioned, and these teasers are all kinds of weird and crazy. They're just sort of sharp cuts, fuzzy sound, all kinds of. Oh yeah. It's they're really teasing it a lot with some really crazy little bits and pieces and kind of creepy little teasers. There were some rumored to be some lost Pokemon episodes that were featuring Team Rocket. They have been discovered, so I don't know if they're going to be cleaned up and re-released. After 12 years, they discovered these lost episodes of Pokemon that feature Team Rocket. Speaking of Doctor Who, Jonathan Groff has joined the cast of the new series of Doctor Who, not the 60th anniversary specials with David Tennant, but the new Doctor and his series that he's working on right now. So Jonathan Groff has joined the cast of that. Elizabeth Moss, Kate Hudson, and Kaya Gerber are to star in thriller Still. There is a Blair Witch Project sequel in the works called Blair Witch Tapes coming in 2024. Have no idea what that's going to be about, but I guess it's about time for a Blair Witch revival. Old El Paso has released Cinnamon Toast Crunch dessert taco shells. So if you want to have dessert tacos, you can now have them in Cinnamon Toast Crunch style taco shells. 500 pounds of uncooked pasta, or of cooked pasta, 500 pounds of cooked pasta were dumped in the New Jersey woods, and people were wondering what the hell was going on. They've postulated their own theories and stuff like that, but apparently the problem has been solved. Apparently a veteran who has been clearing out his parents' house in order to sell it discovered that his parents had hoarded a bunch of stuff during COVID times, and that included cooked pasta. So cleaning out the house, he threw all that out in the backyard, and that's supposedly what happened. So don't know for sure if it is or not, but that is the official storyline. Deaths this week, we have Lance Blanks, former Phoenix Suns GM and NBA player, dies at the age of 56 this week. Linda Lewis, singer, best known for the song It's in His Kiss, the Shoop Shoop song that Cher redid from Mermaids. She died at the age of 72. Kate Cotton, Apple's longtime communications chief, died at the age of 57 this week as well. Since this weekend is generally considered opening weekend for summer movies, a lot of our anniversary movies for this week are Marvel movies and other specialized movies, including the wonderful Brendan Fraser film The Mummy from 1999. That's 24 years ago. Anniversary was this week. Thor is 12 years old this week. The original Thor movie is 12 years old this week. The original Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire is 21 years old this week. I remember seeing it in the movie theater. Avengers Age of Ultron is 8 years old this week. And then the Clone Wars finale episode aired 3 years ago this week, which is considered to be one of the greatest episodes of Clone Wars animated series of all time. Next, I've got some bigger stories here. We'll get with the real big long stories here. Let's face facts. Reality shows are cheap. Particularly with the writer's strike now, you don't really need writers for a reality show because it's reality. So Fox has decided to take the reality show to the next level and have created a reality show called Stars on Mars. Yes, I am not making up that title. This is not an Onion TV show. This is a real TV show. Its host of the show is William Shatner. He will play the version of Mission Control. The premise of the show will take celebrities and put them in on a fake Mars planet, which is, I guess, there is places on the Earth where people do experiments that are similar to Mars. So they're going to either create their own Mars landscape and put these celebrities here. They're going to go to some place like in the desert and have them do competitions and figure out things to colonize and conquer the fake Mars. And every week, someone will be voted out through social media till one person remains, depending on how they do with their challenges. So, yeah, it's due out June 5th. And the cast list of celebrities includes Lance Armstrong, Nebulon Legaro, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, Marshawn Lynch, Alan Repar, Ronda Rousey, Tom Schwartz, Russell Shim. No, that could be wrong. I should find someone else. Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman, Trahi, Portia Wilkes Goudebois, Tallulah Willis, and Ariel Williams. Those are some sports people, children of stars, and stand-up comedians and stuff like that. So there's your weird, bizarre little thing there. Crazy. Guy Ritchie to return to re-team with Jake Gyllenhaal, Henry Cavill, and Eliza Gonzalez in a new action comedy film. Fortnite is now a part of the Esports Olympics, which is run by the official International Olympic Committee. It is not, though, a PvP battle royale thing. Instead, they create a creative island. They invite 12 specific Fortnite players to compete in this version of the Olympics for their gold medal. And it is basically a shooting competition. So they go to this creative island and they basically do the Olympic version of shooting sports in Fortnite. And the winner of that, using the accuracy and stuff like that, will win the gold medal and so on and so forth. The Rings of Power Season 2, which has been having all kinds of issues, has now also decided that they will be continuing production even during the writer's strike, which means that because they're going to continue production, their showrunners will not be involved, neither will the executive producers, because they can't be involved with it because of the Writers Guild strike. But the Rings of Power will be continuing working on their second season without their showrunner and producers. I better check these off to make sure I got that. Boom, 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 boom. June 9th, the Flaming Hot movie will be coming to Hulu and Disney Plus at the same time. So that'd be good to see that. Andrew Garfield will be playing Carl Sagan in a new film called Voyagers. Don't know if it's a biopic of Carl Sagan or if Carl Sagan is just a character in the movie. I don't know, but they've got Andrew Garfield portraying the role of Carl Sagan, and that's pretty good. Talked about David Tennant earlier at Doctor Who. He has been cast and been tapped to play Macbeth in a 3-month-long play. A version of Macbeth at a local theater that's turning 30 years old. 50 Cent is going on a farewell tour, and he's bringing Busta Rhymes with him. That means 50 Cent is probably getting ready to retire. And Aerosmith has announced a final tour, and after the tour is over, they will disband after 50 years of music. So Aerosmith band will be disbanding here within the next year or so. Ice can change the whiskey flavor for the better, but don't overdo it with the ice. So if you don't want to drink straight whiskey and like to have it on the rocks, having it on the rocks, one ice cube, maybe another one, will change the flavor of whiskey for the better, but you don't want too much ice in it because it could underwhelm it as well. Andor Season 2 will cover the 3 days before Rogue One in the final 3 episodes of the season. So basically, it'll lead into Rogue One. So that was the plan all along, I think. Hacks, a local TV show, has paused production due to the writer's strike. So that's another one that's being paused due to the writer's strike. 911, the TV show 911 was canceled by Fox, but it moved to ABC. But the spinoff of 911 called 911 Lone Star was renewed at Fox. So who knows what the hell's going on over there at Fox. The Diplomat with Kerry Russell was renewed for a second season after just coming out after about 1 week. Why did you do that with Sandman is what I'm asking. You should have done that right away as soon as you saw the numbers for that, but you had to wait months to reveal a second season of Sandman, but that's besides the point. Liev Schreiber is going to lead an action thriller called The Guns of Christmas Past. So another Christmas action film. We got a couple of those coming up over the next year or so. I guess that's the new trend right now. May December is a film that is going to debut at Cannes, which stars Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore, about a younger woman who wants to be just like the older woman. It's a heavy drama, stuff like that. Dune Part 2 revealed its trailer, more of the same old stuff you're used to seeing with Dune, including at least snippets of all the new cast members in there and some of the returning ones as well, so you get a general idea what the story's going on with that. Carl Urban is going to play Johnny Cage in the Mortal Kombat sequel, Mortal Kombat 2, so that's pretty cool for that. Let's see, what else do we have? In local news, the Rotunda, which was a sort of a mini mall sort of thing that used to have a small movie theater, and it got gutted out, and they're refurbishing Rotunda. And one of the things they're refurbishing is they are opening a new cinema at the Rotunda, and that opened this weekend. So good on that. Rotunda is a good place to go see film, stuff like that. Cocoa Puffs and Pop-Tarts bath bombs are a thing now. I guess if you want to smell like Cocoa Puffs and Pop-Tarts, sure. Scientists reveal the face of a 10-foot tall killer tadpole that terrorized the Earth before the dinosaurs. So that's kind of creepy. It's almost like a Godzilla thing almost. It's wild. Jim Lee has been promoted to president of DC Comics. DC's in a big flux right now. Maybe having Jim Lee in control will help stem the tide a little bit. A bull elk charges a group of tourists at Yellowstone and nails an old man. Old man, I think, is okay, but the bull elk just had enough and just ran into these tourists. San Francisco Giants played a series in Mexico against the San Diego Padres, I believe. And when the San Francisco Giants came back from their trip to Mexico, yeah, that happened. 3/4 of the players got the runs. So they obviously drank the water in Mexico like they weren't supposed to. Another death this week is Eileen Saki, who played bar owner Rosie on MASH, died at the age of 79 this week. More anniversaries this week. The Mummy Returns, 22 years ago this week. The Gladiator was 23 years ago this week, and historical, not good history, bad history. 53 years ago this week was the Kent State shootings, which David Crosby wrote the song Ohio about. So there we go. Got a page and a half left, and then I'm heading to bed because I am so tired. Sorry, y'all. But thank you for sticking with me. Air, the Ben Affleck, Matt Damon movie about Michael Jordan and his signing the contract to create the Air Jordans, has been getting a lot of critical acclaim in the movie theaters, and it's probably going to be up for potentially for some Oscars. But it was a creation of Amazon Prime, and they released it in movie theaters because they thought they could make some money and get some critical acclaim. They got both. But now it's time for Air to come back where it belongs. It will air on Prime beginning this week, I believe. Babylon 5, the old science fiction TV show with a huge cult following, is getting an animated movie. So that's pretty cool to get the cast back together, and the creator J. Michael Straczynski is involved with it. So it's not just someone saying, "Hey, let's do a Babylon 5 animated film and don't tell anybody from the original series." But no, the original creator is like, "Yeah, we're doing animated series, so let's go." A sun-like star, scientists say, swallowed an entire planet. That's not that unusual. Basically, when if the planet gets too close to the sun's going to suck it into it and it's going to destroy it. But they now have precedent that does happen. Jackson Mahomes, the brother of Patrick Mahomes, has been charged with sexual battery. Jackson Mahomes is kind of a douchebag asshole, and hopefully he gets put away for a long time. Gravity, can turn into light, a new study shows. I don't know how that can be, but I guess it can, and that's a kind of an interesting sort of scientific fact, I suppose. The largest library in the world is in China, and it has 1.2 million books in it. 2 silver coins minted during the Roman Empire were found on a remote and uninhabited island in the Baltic Sea, and they're trying to figure out how the hell did that get there. But they do have it, and it's pretty cool to see that. Tracy Morgan will be replacing Jay Thomas as the Easter Bunny in the Santa Clauses season 2. In the Santa Claus the Santa Claus 2 movie, there was the Council of Legendary Creatures, and Jay Thomas played the Easter Bunny. Well, apparently, I guess we're going to have the Council make an appearance in the new season of the Santa Claus TV show on Disney Plus, and Tracy Morgan will be portraying the Easter Bunny in that one. Samuel L. Jackson gets his first ever Tony nomination for the play Piano Lesson. Tasha Smith to replace Teresa Randall as Martin Lawrence's wife in Bad Boys 4. It happens for whatever reason. Either they couldn't get along, she didn't want to do it, she had other commitments. So they recast the role there. Alan Ritchson, who is playing Jack Reacher on the TV shows now for Prime, is set to star in an action film called Motor City. Lawrence Fishburne saved Emilio Estevez from drowning in quicksand at the age of 14 on the set of Apocalypse Now. His father, Martin Sheen, was in that movie, and Emilio was probably there to visit his dad. And while he was there on set, he accidentally stepped into some quicksand. And luckily, young Lawrence Fishburne, who was in the movie as well, saw this and was able to save Emilio Estevez from drowning in quicksand. Ben & Jerry's has created a new ice cream flavor called Ice Cream Sammy. And it's basically a ice cream sandwich ice cream flavor, which is great. You know, the vanilla ice cream with the soft chocolatey ice cream sandwich sort of chunks in it. Sounds like a good idea, and surprised that nobody else has done a type of ice cream like that before now. But there it is. Killer Kites is the newest B movie out there, a movie about killer kites. People will make a movie about anything now, won't they? The James Webb Telescope detects water vapor around an alien planet. They're trying to figure out how that actually happened. Snickers cookie dough. Now, so there's a cookie dough made like Snickers, so you can have that now too. Saturday Night Live, as well as all late night TV shows, are shut down due to the writer's strike, so there is no new episode of Saturday Night Live this week. Sydney Chandler has been cast in the lead in Noah Whaley's Alien TV show that'll be on FX. So the casting is starting to come together there a little bit. Christine Costner, the wife of Kevin Costner, has filed for divorce. Actually, there's a whole other full page there. Has filed for divorce from her husband Kevin Costner after 18 years of marriage. Lay's wavy Cuban sandwich potato chips are now out in stores, as are their return of their BLT flavored chips are also on their way out as well, or out into stores now too. Bob Fosse's Dancing to close on Broadway. So another show closing on Broadway. It's been on there for a while. Apparently, Icy is the new flavor du jour. You know, the Icy, which is similar to the Slurpee, is the new flavor du jour now because Kellogg's has created an Icy cereal. And there is also an Icy cookie, blue raspberry flavored Icy cookie. So Icy seems to be the new, as I said, flavor du jour. So we'll see. My son likes the blue raspberry Icy, so maybe if I can find these cookies, he might like them, but I can't even imagine what they would taste like, nor could I figure out what the cereal would taste like either. Average height, average built, the serial killer movie with Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Pattinson is officially going to go to Netflix. I don't know if Netflix is going to release it in movie theaters or if it's going to just release it through Netflix. We'll see what happens when it comes, but it is officially going to be going to Netflix. Jenny Craig, the weight loss company, is going to be shutting down their corporate offices, which is going to lead eventually probably to some style of bankruptcy or whatever, probably. Sweet Tooth has been renewed for a third and final season on Netflix. The Gran Turismo trailer with David Harbour, based on a true story, was released this week as well. Gran Turismo is a video game about racing, and apparently there was a competition where kids, if they got high enough score, could be invited to actually drive in the Gran Turismo actual physical race. And there's one boy that it became his dream to do that, and he gets a chance to do that. So I think that's what the movie's basically about. A man trying to catch a catfish in Missouri ends up reeling in a sturgeon instead, which is a prehistoric type of fish that was not known to be in Missouri all that much. So that's kind of interesting. Alaska man hauls in a pike, catches a pike while fishing, flips his rowboat, loses his rod, steals a pedal boat, finds his rod, and still catches the fish. An outlandish and crazy story, but it's true. Anniversaries: X-Men 2 is 20 years ago this week. The Battle of Hogwarts occurred on May 2nd, 1998 in the books, so that's a big deal, fictional event sort of thing happening. The Craft debuted in 1996 this week. The Avengers debuted 11 years ago this week. I remember that because I took the day off of work the day before it was due out, and I went to White Marsh Theaters, and they showed all the movies leading up to the Avengers in the movie theater. So it was Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, then Captain America, the First Avenger, and that led to 12 midnight with the release of the Avengers. So the Avengers was debuting then right after we saw that. So it was a fun event, an all-day event at a movie theater, which I'd never done before. We had these lanyards so we could, when the movies were over, there was a little break in between them so we could go get food, go to the bathroom, go out and do shopping in the shopping area that's in the movie theater is located. And as long as you came back in time for the next film, they had the schedule set up, and then you sat down and you watched the movie again, and it led to the Avengers. And I think it started at 11 a.m. and I got home about 3 a.m. that night. So that was a lot of fun. Enjoyed that, and that was quite an experience that I'll never have again. 11 years ago, Avengers debuted. Larry Gator Russ, a Harlem Globetrotter, died at the age of 73 this week as well. So I was wrong. I actually have another full page of stuff and then a half page. I have a page and a half stuff left of stuff. So at least I'll crack an hour this week. So the Super Mario Brothers movie made $1 billion worldwide, but this is the second time in a week where a version of the film was released without, illegally. First, it was in Argentinian television. I think they aired the entire movie on TV, and then for free. And then Twitter, someone uploaded the movie to Twitter for a long period of time, so you could download the movie and watch it off of Twitter without having to go to the movie theater. So that's kind of a weird sort of thing that happened with Super Mario Brothers movie. Oh, humans may have introduced a now extinct wolf to the Falkland Islands. It was not there originally, and then it suddenly appeared there, and nobody knew how it got there, and then it's now extinct again. But they believe it is the first case of ecological disaster where people bring stuff that is not usual for that place to a location, and it thrives. Colorado man wakes up to discover a mountain lion eating an elk on his front porch. That must have been quite a scene to see a mountain lion just gorging on a giant elk on your porch. Absolutely crazy. Fennekin is the next community day for Pokemon Go. The fire kitty doggy thing, kind of fire fox kind of thing is pretty cool. In honor of May the 4th, someone released a found footage film called Ewok Hunt, which I've been screaming about for the longest time, that the Ewoks are not stupid, useless characters in Return of the Jedi, which happens to be my favorite Star Wars movie. They are actual miniature bears that eat human flesh. And when you see all the Stormtrooper helmets and stuff like that, they killed and ate the Stormtroopers and stole their helmets. They're mini bears. They were trying to cook and eat Han and Chewie and Luke. So, and then how did they have a woman's dress that could fit Princess Leia? Because they probably ate the female who it was. So these little bears are a lot worse than that, but and they take that premise and Ewok Hunt and turn it into a found footage thing where Stormtroopers are in the woods at dead of night, and weird things start happening to them, and they start getting attacked and get sucked into the woods, and it's sort of demonic and awful, and it is fantastic. The Wheel of Time Season 2 apparently will be debuting this year, 2023. It hasn't been officially announced by Prime, but there was a sort of a minor announcement made in a press release where they didn't actually come out and say it, but you could intimate that is exactly what happened. So we haven't gotten official word yet, but it looks like that we will be seeing Wheel of Time Season 2 this year. JJ Wife and his wife Kiwa or whatever bought in on the English Premier League team Burnley. I guess it's the new celebrity cool thing to do, is to own a English Premier League soccer team, or football team as they call it over there. High school students break the world record for largest water balloon toss. So I guess they had a whole bunch of them tossing water balloons at one time, and it was the most water balloons, I guess, tossed in the world. So that's why it's a world record. Rob Delaney will be reprising his role as Peter the Human X-Force member in Deadpool 3. Boys Gen V spinoff gets its first actor in Patrick Schwarzenegger's Golden Boy. So yes, that's the son of Arnold Schwarzenegger, but not with his wife. It was I think Patrick Schwarzenegger is his illegitimate son with the maid, I believe. Ordinary Angels trailer with Hilary Swank and Alan Richardson came out this week. Didn't really watch it, didn't interest me, but if you like that stuff, there you go. Sylvester Stallone is going to be doing a sequel to Cliffhanger. I guess that's okay. Cliffhanger was a pretty good film, sort of brought him back into prominence a little bit, but we'll see how they're going to do a sequel with him now being a whole lot older now. Mech Cadets, a new animated series that's going to be streaming on Netflix, is based on a comic book. Will be coming soon here too. Madison Isaman, Aaron Dugray, Antonio Desplat, Chris Charles Turin, and Jamie Campbell Brown, or whatever his name is, are all starring in the Chuck Russell remake of Witchboard. So pretty interesting cast coming together for that. Taika Waititi is going to direct an adaptation of the book Kiara and the Sun. I don't know what that says. House of Dragons season 2 will continue to continues production, will not be affected by the Writers Guild strike. Pedro Pascal has joined Ridley Scott's Gladiator sequel, so that's another big role that big character they got. Fortnite has released a massive Star Wars collaboration crossover that lasts from May 2nd to the 23rd. It's a mini battle pass, and there are rumors that next week we're going to bring Darth Vader to the island again. He was a big boss last season, or a couple seasons, or rather last chapter, I should say. He'll be coming back to the island as a big boss, and also Order 66 might be getting done, so that should be interesting to see how they do that. But it's an interesting collab so far, and we should be getting more quests coming up here and about later on Sunday. So that's interesting. There it is. Icy Blue raspberry cookies. I already talked about those. Hers, not to be outdone by Lay's sandwich chips. Hers has created their own sandwich chips, but they are meant to be put actually on your sandwich. You know how you used to put Doritos or potato chips in with your peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or whatever, and bite down, you get that crunchiness and stuff like that. Well, hers has created a mustard flavored potato chip that you're supposed to put on your sandwiches, so that when you bite into it, you get that crunch, but you also get the mustard taste that you usually get with like your lunch meat sandwiches. So, okay, that's interesting, I guess. It's a interesting take on things. I wonder if they'll have a ketchup and a relish flavored one as well. I know it's West Virginia. It's a West Virginia. Oh, yeah. West Virginia principal is surprised by a bear that was in a dumpster on the school property. The principal went to dump some trash into his dumpster, opened the dumpster, and a bear jumped out. Was not expecting that. Giant blob of seaweed is heading for the west coast of Florida. Doesn't look good for beachgoers on the west coast of Florida. Oh, I'm so tired. I can't read my handwriting here. Jason Reitman is going to be directing a film set during Saturday Night Live's first episode. It's going to basically be a film about Saturday Night Live's first episode. So that's kind of an interesting idea to turn that in there. It's something about a Netflix sort of thing, but I can't read this one, and I'm just too tired to just look at it. Mark Shannon, St. Louis broadcaster and former baseball player, died at the age of 83 this week. Helen Palin, longtime wife of Monty Python member Michael Palin, died this week as well. She and Michael were married for 57 years. Anniversaries: Iron Man is 15 years old this week. Amazing Spider-Man 2 debuted 9 years ago this week. 30 years ago this week, the World Wide Web was released into the public domain, and we get what we have now. The Heir to the Empire novel, written by Timothy Zahn, was released in 1991 this week. Idle Hands, the great comedy horror film, was released 24 years ago this week in 1999. Also this week, Rickey Henderson became the leader in stolen bases in baseball history. I remember watching that because I always liked Rickey Henderson stealing bases. Lyle, something other memorable will be next to get board on Netflix new series. I don't know what that is, so I'm not gonna even. As I said, I'm starting to fall apart here, getting a little tired here. Can't do this next week. Next week's my 500th episode, so we're gonna move on here. Lego and Sega have announced a playable Sonic Lego. They created a Mario version's kind of playable one. I'm assuming this is going to be sort of similar in aspect, so that'd be good. The NFL schedule is scheduled. The NFL schedule is scheduled to arrive on May 11th, so that's going to be later this week, right? Today's the 6th, 5 days from now. Yep. Black Phone 2 has been greenlit, so we're going to see a sequel to Black Phone, which was kind of a surprise little hit there, but it's a cheap horror film, stuff like that. Well, the Kentucky Derby did happen this week. We also have to remember that it's kind of a form of animal abuse. 7 horses were euthanized at the Kentucky Derby this week alone, and I don't know exactly what happened, but 7 of them were euthanized. The last giant turtle of her kind has died in a Chinese zoo. I don't even know what that one is either. Scientists see rarest event ever while going about their search for dark matter. They saw an event that is 18 quadrillion chance of seeing. They actually did see it. Deaths this week: legendary Azure baseball coach Carol Colson died at the age of 88. And anniversary, 24 years ago this week, Entrapment came out. Catherine Zeta-Jones and Sean Connery. And of that, I am toast because I am worn out. I don't know why I'm so tired. But thank you for sticking with me. As I mentioned just a few minutes ago, next week is my 500th episode. Don't expect anything special, just more along the lines of this sort of thing. The special part is these videos I'm making of my top 500 movies of all time. I've done 2 of them. I'm probably planning on doing a third one tomorrow. And then we'll figure out when I'm going to do the other 2 sometime during the week, probably. I think I will probably be doing my show on Saturday as usual. It's Mother's Day weekend coming up. It's also the Bloomin' Arts Fest up in Reisterstown. So, and my daughter's seen the musical 6 down at the Hippodrome. So, all kinds of great stuff coming up. So I'm done. I'm tired. I've had a long day. Hope you all had a great day. It was a wonderful day. And here's hoping that tomorrow is going to be just as nice. Let's see. What do we got weather-wise for tomorrow? Well, it's going to be warmer tomorrow. It's going to be 77 degrees tomorrow. It was 72 today. But there's a chance of rain hitting about 4 o'clock Rain going from 4 till about 10 p.m. tomorrow. So we'll get some rain. But 77 degrees is wild. I mean, we're getting into May weather here. Sunday 77, Monday 77, Tuesday 64, Wednesday 72, Thursday 75, Friday 81, Saturday 82, Sunday 79, Monday 72. So looks like we're going to have ourselves another nice weekend coming up. But this is going to get a little warmer than usual, but that's okay. It is May. So we'll see you later. Bye.